So you have something you want to talk about. It has to do with Bruno Mars. Tell me what it is.
I got a hot take.
Okay, I'm scared.
But first, I need to know, do you want my hot take or context? I feel like the hot take first and then the
And then
context.
the
Which one's
context.
stronger?
Yeah, I like that. A little dramatic effect.
Okay, my hot take is I think it's over for Bruno Mars. I think he's done, and he don't want to say he's done. I think either A, Bruno Mars is done with music, or B, he really does owe somebody $260 million or
Well,
whatever the
doesn't
number
he?
was. Well, we don't know if it's fact or fiction, but I think it's either he's done or he
I
owes
thought,
money for real in Vegas because
I thought he
Bruno
did for real owe
Mars,
money.
now that never was confirmed or denied, uh
Okay.
But it gotta be one or the other. That's my hot take. Because Bruno Mars does not give a fuck about music anymore. And allow me to provide some context.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's why I've been looking down at my phone this whole time. So
That's fine.
in 2016, Bruno
Hmm.
Mars dropped 24 Karat Magic. November 17th, 2016. 9 years ago almost. Okay. That was 9 songs. I call it a classic album. I love this album. It's a great
Me too.
album. But since then, what has Bruno Mars given us?
Collabs with Sexy Red and the other girls.
Right. So we got Silk
He did
Sonic.
something with Gaga, right?
Well, let's just go in chronological order.
Okay, let's please.
In 2021, Bruno Mars, Anderson Paak, and who's the other person? I always forget. No, there was a producer who did this whole project. No, hold on.
I thought it was just the two of them.
No, there was a major producer that worked with them on most of the songs.
Okay.
Um, I hate that it doesn't show you who executive produced the album on here. I'll tell you in a second. There was a
Mhm.
songwriter or a producer that worked with them on most of the album. I can't find it and I don't want to find it, but whatever. They
Okay.
were paired up. Bruno Mars and Anderson Paak worked with a specific producer or songwriter. I can't remember. And if I'm correct, that person executive produced the album. If I'm
Okay.
wrong, I'm sorry. It really doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. But we got
They
Silk
had
Sonic.
their group, Silk Sonic.
Silk Sonic came out in 2021. Not the best album. I know it sold well because Bruno Mars has a huge fan base and so does Anderson Paak. And so when you put them together, it was best of both worlds. And speaking of best of both worlds, it was similar in the sense that the same thing, right? When Jay-Z and R. Kelly teamed up, that project sold ridiculous numbers. And the second one too, whether it was good or not. And so
Right.
everybody has their own opinion on Silk Sonic. I don't think this was the greatest album ever. We spoke about it when it came out. And I still say the same thing. My stance is the same. That album was okay. I saw they were trying to do the 70s thing. It was like, I guess. It lacked soul, which is weird because they're both great writers. So I don't know. But whatever. You got Silk
Well,
Sonic. So however people feel, oh, please.
I was gonna say, well, I think also the thing about Bruno Mars, just with that too, is that um he's also playing a role. So a lot of times it can come across as I feel like
What does that
sometimes
mean?
it's oh, I mean it's a whole get up. He's like basically presenting himself as an artist from yesteryear.
Oh, okay. But that's why I thought this would be fitting. But please finish.
Right, but I think what happens sometimes is when you're putting on, so to speak, it can come across as inauthentic. So by the time you listen to the music, I don't know if people, and I'm not saying this is you specifically, but I don't know if people connect with it as much as maybe they want to. I don't know. I sometimes feel that about him, or even artists who, I don't know. I don't like that might be my own bias with the fact that I don't really care for all of the extra theatrical. I'm putting on a costume sort of thing. So maybe that's just me. That's why I paused and I was like, maybe I am projecting.
Well, that's why I thought Silk Sonic would work because they didn't say we are doing the 70s sound, but if you pay
Hmm.
attention, that's what they were trying to do.
That's what
And
they were
so
doing.
I thought, oh, okay, the yesteryear artist
Hmm.
then that should be, I mean, you can see where he pulls his inspiration from.
Oh, of
So
course.
I thought it would be an easy thing, but it was kind of like, nah, we don't really want to work. We just want to throw whatever at the wall and see what sticks.
Hmm.
Anyway,
In fact, he's a carbon copy of a past um, artist, but that's a conversation for another day.
and so that's what we got from Bruno Mars. Then they gave us live versions and acoustic versions.
Hmm.
And then in 2024, we got a smash hit. A smash hit from Bruno Mars and Lady Gaga called Die With a Smile. Great record.
Yeah,
Hit the
that was great.
charts. It did great.
We reviewed it, I think.
We did. It was great.
Yeah. Hmm.
Phenomenal record. People said maybe it's going to be on the Gaga album. Maybe there's a Bruno Mars album coming because this was October of 2024.
You guys, Bruno Mars is Rihanna, if you haven't noticed.
And
Same
then,
boat. Only he's not making
like a
makeup.
week later, he did
Hmm.
another song with another young lady called Rose or Rose. I don't know how to pronounce this. It's got a little asterisk on the E, so maybe it's Rose. But
Hmm.
him and another person, yeah, it's a young lady, they did a song called APT. Never heard of this song. I don't listen to her, but I never heard of this. Did you?
I feel like I've heard of this person, but no, I don't think I'm aware of the song.
Which takes me to January of 2025. January 24th, we got Fat, Juicy, and Wet. Bruno Mars and Sexy Red. Another record that probably shouldn't exist.
No,
Another
and
another
I
miss,
want to. Sorry.
which we reviewed. Go ahead.
Hmm. No, no, no. You go. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt you like that.
Well, I'm just saying it was a miss.
Oh, and I was going to say that I actually thought it was a bop. I don't think that was the general consensus. I think it
No.
came and went very quickly. I
Very
actually thought it was
quickly.
going to be a lot more popular. But you know what I think was the problem with that record?
That it shouldn't exist.
Besides that, the people who like Bruno Mars is more universal than Sexy Red.
Okay.
And I think for some of Bruno Mars's audience, it was probably off-putting and not exciting. And I can't speak for the rest of his audience, but I think that was part of it. I think some of the people who probably really like his sound and really like what he does and been to his concerts and whatever don't
Mhm.
want to hear that, don't want to hear Sexy Red with Bruno Mars.
Well, the
And Bruno
problem.
Mars has his own, sorry.
No, no, go.
Bruno Bruno Mars has his own level of nasty, if you will. Bruno Mars is by no means, and we said this back then, by no means is Bruno Mars PG
Right.
in his music. So I don't think it's him that people didn't connect with. I think it was her that people didn't connect with. That's why I'm saying what I'm saying, because Bruno Mars is not PC. He's not like Bruno Mars talks about he talks about sex just as much as anyone else does. He talks about when he has issues with women, just like everybody else. He's not someone who's making like really cookie cutter sweet music. He's kind
Right.
of like a John Legend, where if you're not paying attention to the music, you'll miss it.
Okay.
Because John Legend was a wild boy, especially in the beginning. If you listen to some of his music, you'd be like, "Oh, Johnny, okay,
Not
you were
Johnny.
that's what you were. Okay. All right." His wife even says it. She's like, there's some songs that she'll listen to and cringe when it's on, because she's like, I could not believe that that was you who said that. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, but my point is just that I think that that was the problem with that record,
Yeah,
right?
I
Like, I think,
disagree. Go ahead.
okay.
Finish. No, finish, and then I'll
No,
respond.
but I think that was the problem. Part of the problem. I can't, like I said, I can't speak to his entire audience, but I don't think that Sexy Red is as universal as everyone thought she was going to be.
No, I agree with that. I don't think that's the problem. I think the problem is Bruno Mars has lost his sauce. I don't think Bruno Mars is able to be Bruno Mars anymore because here's a good example. Think about Finesse Remix with Cardi B.
Yeah.
They brought Cardi B into Bruno's world and it worked. They tried
It
on
did.
this record on what is it called? Sexy and Wet, Fat Sexy and Wet.
Fat, juicy, and
Fat
wet.
Juicy and Wet. On Fat Juicy and Wet, they tried to bring Bruno into Sexy Red's world. And that's what I'm saying. He didn't have a way to function in Sexy Red's world. Had they brought Sexy Red to Bruno's world, it could have worked very well. But I think the problem is, and this is what I'm saying, I think it's over. I think he lost his mojo.
I can see what you're saying. I mean,
And,
I don't
and allow
know.
me to present the final exhibit, if you will.
Oh, please do.
Now, for the audience, I have to mute this because they won't let me play this on the pod, but I just want Dash to be able to give a real-time reaction to Bruno Mars' latest record,
So there's new music.
Bande do Bruno. It's a
Is that
Portuguese record. It is 57 seconds long. And so, audience, we'll be right back. That's it, 57 seconds. Before you react, I thought this was fake. I said somebody done uploaded a Bruno Mars spoof parody record. How is this possible? But on Spotify, the new thing is they post little promo video clips when people drop songs. And what is there? A promo song, a promo video of Bruno Mars promoting this song. And now, your thoughts.
I want to be respectful. Not of
Why?
Bruno Mars. Not of Bruno Mars. Of the culture that he is doing whatever he's doing with. Because I don't know what he's saying. I don't know if this is common. Like, this is how the music normally sounds. I don't know.
I'm
So
I'm told it means the thing he's repeating is the parties in Brazil.
okay, so it sounds like a party record. I don't. What?
No, go. Come on.
It's not for me, is what I'll say. I'm sure if somebody's at a party, you know, and they're dancing and it comes
Oops.
on, it's probably fine. Um, I did a little shoulder bounce to it. I mean, it's got beat, you know.
But even, go ahead.
I don't necessarily. I think my issue with it is that I don't really want that from Bruno Mars. Um, I'm very clear on this podcast about my biases when it comes to artists and what I want to hear from them versus what I don't want to hear from them. I don't care what they like to do. I care about what I want to hear. I think that's okay as a consumer of music. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I'm not saying that I'm not open-minded. It's just that sometimes I'll listen to all of it and then I select what I like and what I don't like. I would never listen to this again.
That's all I wanted to hear.
For
That's all I
me, that
wanted.
doesn't have any replay value. But that could be for a number of reasons. Like, one, I mean, the sound is just not something I'm going to listen to in my day to day. Two, I don't understand what it means, and that's very frustrating for me. Like, I'm totally fine with listening to music in other languages. In fact, I do, but I'd like to know what they're saying. I do my research, but I probably wouldn't research this because I don't
Because there's nothing to research.
have a particular interest in it.
The beat is not even an original beat. We've heard this beat before.
Yeah,
It just sounds like
it's
some shit they
familiar.
threw together once again.
I don't like it when certain artists experiment. Again, I'm very clear on that. He doesn't need to do this unless someone asks
It
him to.
sounds sauceless to me.
Yeah, unless someone asks him to do it, then it's like whatever. But he doesn't need to do this. The way Rick Ross didn't need to do For the Money.
See, but the thing is, if Rick Ross dropped 5 for the monies in a row, then I would say Rick Ross lost his sauce.
All right. I think Bruno Mars, and I think I said this last time, that Bruno is Bruno just done. To your point, is Bruno just done and he's looking to, I don't know, just live out whatever contract he's in?
I don't
So
know.
he just be He just be making random music.
But that's what I'm saying. That's what it
He's
seems
just
like, and
fulfilling
that's my take. My
obligations
take
at this
is
point.
Bruno doesn't have any more integrity. Bruno doesn't have any more sauce. Bruno don't give a fuck.
And I guess that's okay. That's frustrating for me as someone who loves music, but I realize that I you know what it is to that I think I'm starting to realize is that we've grown and they've grown, and I simply mean in age. I don't know these people to know how much they've grown, but it's like when you get to a point in life where you're like, I've been doing this thing for a really long time and I'm just not interested in it anymore, or I just feel like I should be doing something else. Something else is calling me. I almost feel like that's what happens with these artists. Some of these artists that we talk about from day to day are we've known about them. We've known them for a million years at this point. And perhaps that's part of the problem. Is just that they get into this rut, and in order to get themselves out of the rut, they're trying to have a little fun with their music, but it's not fun for us.
I just
Just
want to
like
know
we,
how many years we gonna let him do this. How many more? Like for example, Drake did the experimental album. Honestly, never mind. And then he went back to doing what he does.
right, but he's still putting out misses.
Well, not that's not true in the sense of what happened with Drake after. Drake put out real music after that, whether you
He
liked it or
did.
not. He
He
went
did.
back to making Drake music after that.
Right. You're right. You're right. Let me.
Bruno, after dropping a classic album 9 years ago almost,
Mhm.
we haven't seen the real Bruno Mars ever since.
I think after 9 years, isn't this the real Bruno Mars? It's
But
kind of like
that's my point. Look,
same
Drake
thing
did
with
Honestly Nevermind. Then he did Her Loss. That was Drake music. Then he
hmm
did For All the Dogs. That was Drake music.
hmm I mean, Drake
And
is
now he
actually he.
did Some
We
Sexy
know
Songs for You. Also Drake
sexy
music.
songs for you, right, and the people loved Nokia. I mean, to an
Right.
extent,
No, no,
but
Key is a hit. It's not a hit on the Drake usual level hit, but it's
right,
a hit.
it's not a one dance. Um,
You need money in order for that to happen. And right now, beefing with his label changes that. We don't know Bruno Mars having a lawsuit against his label, so
Right, but Bruno also did have some legal issues, as it seemed. I don't know for sure. Allegedly had some legal issues. So perhaps that has something to do with it. I don't know. I do have to go soon, but I mean, if Bruno wants to sit the next few years out, he can. I'd be fine with that. I'll just listen to the old
24
stuff.
Karat Magic.
24 karat magic, gold.
Absolutely.
24 karat gold. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, that works for me. Like I don't need this.
I just feel like what we doing, Bruno.
Listen, I once was a Portuguese minor. I did not finish pursuing that, but I once was a Portuguese minor. Maybe it would mean more to me if I actually went through with it. I don't know, but it just I don't know. Anyway,